Welcome to Startuprad.io, your podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io bringing you another sponsored podcast by Invest in Hessen. Invest in Hessen is backed by Hessen Trade and Invest, which is the investment promotion agency of the German state of Hessen or Hesse. If you like what you're seeing or hearing, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to ring the notification bell. That said, today I'm bringing you a startup in the person of Benjamin from the very north of Hessen, from Kassel. Hey Benjamin, how are you doing up there?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Always a pleasure having you here. We talked that you are actually based in the state of Hessen, in the very north, in Kassel. I just looked it up here on Google Maps, and actually it takes about 2 hours to get there by car, but due to the ICE high-speed train connection, just 1 hour by train. Nonetheless, it's a very lovely city. I've been there just a few times, but I very liked it. That said, let's get a little bit into your life, into what you're telling the people in LinkedIn. As always, everybody who'd like to learn more or reach out to you, they can go down here in the show notes. There is a link to our blog post, and on our blog post, you'll of course find your personal LinkedIn profile so people can reach out directly to you. That said, you actually started more in marketing and consulting in your life, right?
Yes, I started with my degree in business administration with a focus on marketing and sales. And after my degree, I decided to move forward in different companies and positions, always in the field of marketing, product, sales. Yeah, that was my focus in the past.
Actually, what I found most interesting is the legendary camera company called Leica. What did you actually do there? Because it says something like UAV.
That's right. So what you need to know about Leica is that Leica is only a brand. And there is Leica camera, there's Leica hunting, and there's Leica geosystems. And the family behind Leica decided to sell the brand to different technologies, and Leica is the brand above all these areas, but Leica Geosystems is 100% focused on geographical data management, more or less. So land surveyors, but also surveying from above, which could mean from airborne or from satellites, but also from UAVs. And I was in a division that was more or less focused on mobile mapping, and mobile mapping also includes all new technologies. Could be laser scanning, could be scanning with cars, so such as here or Google or Apple are using for their maps. And I was responsible for the UAV business.
I see. UAV in this context means unmanned aerial vehicle?
That's right. So it was pretty easy, but since the company I worked for started in 2011, it was something new in 2011. And I think it's also something new if you tell somebody, okay, you don't need to have a land surveyor for the survey task. You could use an UAV or a drone, but the easy thing is it was just a flying thing with a camera. That's it, and all the magic comes from the software, which works with the data which was captured before from the drone.
You are in like half a year the second startup I have from Hessen working with or on drones, because I've been talking just recently to the guys from Wingcopter. That's Leica is actually not the startup you founded. No. But you worked there, and from what I see in your CV is actually that's where you had the first contact with drones, and then you kept going into the drone direction. Is that about right?
Well, more or less, it is right. Yes, but as always in my lifetime, it was not a decision based on a technology. It was a decision based on a market. So what I've learned during my time with Leica Geosystems or Hexagon is the company behind Leica Geosystems, a huge company based in Sweden. What I've learned during this time is that working for the logistics market and using different sensor technologies such as drones or other mobile solutions could be a good idea, because it's really something new for the market, and automation and digitalization is something that, more or less in the focus of logistics companies. And that's why I moved forward with drones and the AI and software part.
So we are talking about UAVs, drones here, but you're not actually a hardware startup. You guys are doing AI and software, right?
Absolutely right. But since you cannot buy the type of drones we are using in on the market, so this is something pretty new. If you remember your talk with Wingcopter, I think you've learned that they are flying outside, and they are using for the navigation more or less GPS-based navigation software. And GPS and indoors is something that is not possible. So just have a look on your mobile phone, and you will see that GPS is not in a good connection. So we needed to find a way how to use drones indoors and have an automated or autonomous flight indoors without GPS. So we are a software startup, but we need to push also hardware on the market.
Let me take a step back here, because we're already very deep into discussing doks innovations. But what I've been missing so far is how you got the idea. And we may add, I also learned in the Wingcopter interview, which of course I will link down here in the show notes as well, was there working with the tilt rotor technology. If you want to know what this is, go down in the show notes and listen to the interview.
And just a hint from my side, Tom is an absolutely great entrepreneur. And he's doing very, very well. And I think the rise of Wingcopter will not stop. I think Corona really helped them, and they are on a very, very great way. So
Benjamin did not know that, but I actually interviewed Tom there. So go down here in the show notes. There's the link.
Yeah. So thumbs up for Tom and his company. And again for Hesse, I think Wingcopter is very, 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 very good. Yeah, so it's very good to see such a company growing here in Hesse. But coming to your question, why doks innovation, or why working with drones and logistics? So as I said, I always worked in areas such as product management and so on and so on. Is the question, okay, who are your customers, or who could be your customer, and what's your market? And before I decided to found doks innovation together with my co-founders, I also asked myself, okay, using drones is a good idea for land surveying, for industrial inspection, and also for some other tasks. But are there areas which are not covered in this moment, which also could be interesting? And then I had many, many, many interviews with possible customers, so logistics companies and huge industrial players in Germany. It was I think something like maybe nearly 100 for 1.5 years. And the feedback I got from their side was so good that after the feedback, I decided, okay, I need to found something, and the something then becomes more structured with my co-founders. So it was very soon decided that we will not found a hardware company, and that we will focus on software and artificial intelligence. But as always, you need to have good partners in your team to really start something like this. Yeah, that's the short story.
Okay, you guys are now 3 co-founders. How did you split the duties between you guys?
It was also quite easy because we come with different experiences. So Mike comes from the robotics and embedded side, and Martin is a real engineer. So it was quite easy at the beginning who is responsible for what. I was responsible for everything besides the development part, which means financials, marketing, sales, HR, and so on and so on. So more or less business structure. And that's why we decided together in the team that I will be the CEO of doks.innovation, and the 2 other guys, they were responsible for setting up the development team and have the first prototype and then the Series A, and step by step. So
Okay, I see. So let's get a little bit, because Series A funding, we talk a little bit later about it. Let's get a little bit into what you guys are actually doing, because I've been looking at your website and you have reference customers like Mars Group. Yes, the one with the chocolate bars, as well as BMW Group. You don't easily get those clients, even if you're a B2B startup. What are you guys doing, and what did those companies like about what you're doing?
Okay, coming to Mars Corporation, they do not only sell chocolate bars. I think the most important part of their business is pet food. And the Mars family is very, very much interested in innovations. Mars works together with different 3PLs. 3PL means third-party logistics service providers. And here in Germany, they work together with a company named Richtering. And Richtering asked us, okay, is there any possibility for our daily inventory management? Is there any technology available that could automate our processes? And then we presented to them our solution inventory. And then they got back to the Mars Corporation. They told them, okay, this is something which could be really interesting for you. And then it was a decision together with the Mars Corporation here in Germany, and then in the second step directly from the Mars family in the US, which was absolutely crazy for us because we had a presentation without being at the presentation. So there was the German Mars team who took our drone over to the US and presented it directly to the Mars family, and it was absolutely crazy. We got great feedback from their side, and they see it as a promising technology for logistics, and not only for logistics. But again, it was a crazy situation because it was just based on a pilot project, and the first results, and they were so happy to see these results, which was good for us. And this is the Mars story, and we continue the work together with Richtering and Mars here in Germany, and we will also be in other Mars facilities in the future. Coming to BMW, this was not an classical case for us because the first technology which was on our roadmap was inventory. So having inventory processes indoors, areas. For BMW, we were responsible for two use cases. It was transport on their production facility in Leipzig, transport via drones, so something that could also be done by Wingcopter. And the second use case was capturing information about block storage outdoors, which was new for us, but much more into artificial intelligence. So this was our first proof that we are really an AI company, and we solved the challenge of inventory management on huge outdoor block storage areas for production empties for BMW, and we did the same for Volkswagen now.
So let's get a little bit into the nitty gritty of what you guys are doing, because what I learned in the interview with Wingcopter, so basically that is a quadcopter, so meaning it has at least 4 rotors, and it actually flies around inside a building, inside like a huge warehouse, and it can navigate there, and it automatically takes stock information. It scans what is there, what you have available, where you're running out of stock and stuff like this. Is it like that? Can you go a little bit into detail there?
Yeah, absolutely right. So the drone is nothing more than just a flying camera. It helps to get data from above, and it helps to reduce the stuff for such bad work. Nobody likes to do inventory management, to be very honest. So the drone is just capturing the data. We combine the drone together with an AGV, which helps to navigate through the warehouse and to really have an automated process, because our customers are always looking for a real automated process. So which means just push one button and then come back after 3 or 4 hours and just get the data. And drones are not able to fly much more than maybe 25 minutes if you are using drones in our size. So we needed to find a way for the energy management, but also for the data management. So, and what we are doing is we are using camera systems and barcode scanners to capture the data, and then we process all the data in the post-processing software, which means that we are capturing really everything, which is good for the customer, because we are capturing data and we don't need questions before. We offer the data, and then the customer could ask nearly any question and we'll find the answers in the data we captured before. So in our data archive, it is always possible to ask us, okay, I need some information from, let's say, the 1st of October 2020. We had a problem in our area 15. Could we have the data from this day? And then we offer them the data, and based on machine learning algorithms, some of the questions could be answered automatically and others could be answered manually. So could be also an inspection task, or if there is anything missing, or if there was a damage or something else, nearly everything is possible.
How long did the development of your software take? Because what I have in mind is like, yes, it's basically a software, but when I went through like all the hoops and ideas that I had like instantly in my mind, I was wondering, how many drones did you smash against walls before it started working?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. When we start with the first prototype, I think we crashed almost, between 30 and maybe 40 systems, which means in cash, a lot, really a lot. You need to know that we were responsible for the development of the first hardware we were using. So when we started, with Doks Innovation, there was no partner available which could offer a drone that was capable to do the job. So we needed to find a way to develop our own drone. And to be very honest, drone development is nothing that is a job that makes you happy. Really not. It's very complex, and you always will crash the first prototypes. So crashing was something that was part of our development. And the question, how long did it take to get the software ready? The answer is always too long, but I'm a business guy. The developers would tell you, we are pretty fast. We are very fast. Again, it's also pretty complex. You need to address many different areas. It's not only data management, it's navigation. We really have great guys in our team who are responsible for the automation.
Sorry, you were gone for just a very tiny moment. One question, how are you guys actually managing to navigate inside a building? I assume it's a big building, but nonetheless, it's navigation inside a building, which isn't too easy, right?
No, that's right. We are using more or less SLAM algorithm and different sensor technologies. So LiDAR, stereo cameras, and some other sensors for the navigation. And it's a combination between global mapping and local mapping for all the geeks. So it's very complex, and you need powerful hardware. So it's not that easy, but to be very honest, it helps a lot that AGVs are more or less a common thing now in logistics, or in some areas of logistics. So all the automated driving things are very helpful for us. But we are navigating in XYZ, which is pretty special. So having just something on the floor is not easy, but it's a solved challenge. But XYZ is something special. So
you're referring to the 3-axis, because with a drone you're navigating within a 3-dimensional space, which means you can not only hit something front, back, left, and right, but also up, down, and all the other angles in between.
Yeah. So you need to have all the angles always in mind.
And that is pretty interesting. You said you're also pushing the development of drones. How far are you guys actually getting into the hardware, or do you have a co-development company that actually takes into account your requirements for the hardware?
Unfortunately not. We have a great partner for the AGV, a very great partner coming also from Germany. It's not a real startup, but I think they are more or less a startup, since COVID-19 also pushed their business not to new dimensions, but more or less in new areas. So for the AGV part, we have a great partner. For the drone, we are using a standard drone, but this drone is not capable to fly indoors automatically. So we really needed to find a way by ourselves how to do the job. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see. How much time are you guys spending on a drone until it can do what you guys are actually doing? Are we talking 1 day of refitting, or a month?
You mean the implementation at our customer site?
Sorry, your connection was once again a little bit jumpy, so I had to readjust the frame. Really sorry about that for our audience. No, I'm going at, you get the drone, and how long does it take until you put in all the fancy stuff like LiDAR, your software, and so on and so forth, until you can actually use it?
It's something between 3 and 5 hours.
3 and 5 hours. That sounds very reasonable. What you guys are currently looking for right now, like in terms of partners, like hardware, if a drone manufacturer sees that, in terms of clients, logistics clients, and of course, since we are talking here, sponsored by Invest in Hessen, are you looking for investors?
Yeah, so we will have our next big release end of October. There will be the new version of inventory on the market. And we are absolutely looking for customers. We are very happy that we have some great and huge customers on our list right now, but always looking for new customers, especially from the US. We will move to the US during the next year or within the next year. Investors are always welcome. So I think the only answer you will get from a startup is investors are always welcome. We will have our next funding round in Q1 of 2021. So if there is any interest, we are always happy to get new contacts. Partners are very much welcome. So we are looking for sales and service partners globally. And we are also looking for new technology partners, integration in WMS, integration in ERP systems, integration in warehouses in general. This is something where we need help. Absolutely. We will not have a facility in each country globally, but we will have our solutions globally. So we always need partners. And we also need some backup partners for the drone and AGV part, since we really are looking forward to hopefully a big growth of our company. And yeah, it's always good to have different partners in different countries, since the drone regulations are globally on a different stage. So it's not possible to use our technology in all countries without restrictions. And
I see. So there are like different drone regulations in Germany, in the EU, and in the US, for example.
Yeah, but it's not only the drone thing. If you have a look on the Wi-Fi, then it's not possible to use the same Wi-Fi technology in Japan that you are using in the EU. So it's always good to have local partners which can help to get technology into the country. Yeah.
I see. Talking about the investors, you're looking at Series A, Series B. You would also be very much looking for a US-based investor, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So for Series A, we are looking for international investors and also looking for investors from the US.
Have you set an eye on any location in the US yet, like New York or Silicon Valley or somewhere in the middle?
No, we will not move to the West Coast. We are looking for setting up something at the East Coast. We are in a good connection with some guys from Connecticut, so more or less around New York, Boston, and so on and so on. We had some pilot projects in the very south of the US, and we see the south, the East Coast, as well as the Midwest of the US as the most promising areas.
I see. We're talking now for more than 30 minutes. Admittedly, our viewers will not see everything because we did have some issues in the meantime with the internet connection. Nonetheless, we are talking in an interview sponsored by Invest in Hessen. You guys are still in Hessen, even though you're at the very northern top in terms of cities of the state. What do you like about the state, and what does it mean for you?
I think Hesse is doing a great job when it comes to startups. They have great offerings from the state side. absolutely. They are very much interested in pushing startups so that they are visible on the entrepreneur or startup map in Germany, but also in Europe. And when it comes to North Hesse, I also could tell you that the local business agencies from the state side, they support us very, very much, very, very much. So we have a research project together with the state organization for North Hesse here, and we have really great events that were organized from the state side. So yeah, I think Hesse is pretty much interested in pushing startup business.
Great final words. There's actually nothing more I have to ask about you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you. Sorry to all the listeners and audience for the interruptions, but that's the only thing we could do in times of Corona with our internet connection. Thank you, Benjamin, for being a guest. It was a pleasure having you, and thumbs pressed for the release of your newest version, which will be just approximately 2 weeks down the road from this publication. So everybody who's listening to this, have a look at the website of the company. Of course, go down here in the show notes. There will be a link to our blog post. And of course, in the blog post, there's a link not only to your LinkedIn profile, but also to the company's website.
Thank you. That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.Startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.